вот это... Да. Я не хочу петь, у меня нет таких планов, к сожалению.
A 360-degree panoramic view of all of Tokyo. Wow, what an amazing view. We're not even at the top right now, and it's just so crystal clear from up here. You can actually walk around this entire place. It has these huge glass window panes that you can see the entire city. And it's quite amazing because I live in Shibuya and I know all the little different parts that I go to. It's nice to see everything from a bird's eye view. It's just such an amazing experience. And if you want to get your drinky drink on, then you can come here and order drinks. And you bring your drinky drink and sit here. There's seats all along here, and you can check out the view just right in front of you. Alright, we're on top of the world. Look at this, all of Tokyo behind me. This is such an awesome view. Check it out. Oh, like my heart is kind of beating a little bit fast on how high we are right now. My breath has been taken. Oh, and for those of you looking to catch a night view, Shibuya Sky is open till 11 p.m. Team Lab Borderless. Team Lab is the world's first digital art.
Есть определенный, да, я согласен. Ну, может это, да. Я вообще, да. Вот, ну вот это есть. Почему я должен, по-вашему, развиваться так, как вам кажется, что я должен там что-то вам делать? Что развиваться? То есть сколько годов это уже, я понял. Нет, почему? То есть в обществе много потребностей, в конце концов, да. И это ваши проблемы, то есть я не должен вас сваливать, да. Понимаете? Ну, значит и не надо никому, да, не получается, так? Вот это другое, что ты как бы живешь зря, нечаянно, как будто бы, да. Это тоже, я говорю, вот это он понимает. Ничего страшного, не теряй момента.
Museum, and it's located at Palatown in Odaiba. So we're back with a fan favorite. We've been here before, but I had to show you guys again. One of the things you'll find about Team Lab Borderless, One of the things you'll find about Team Lab Borderless is that they have a whole bunch of hidden rooms. So you have to go and wander around, and each room is quite different, as you can see from this room. The thing is, you might not actually find some of the rooms, so you have to go and explore and wander around. And that's kind of the beauty of this place. 2121 design site. It kind of looks like a museum, but it's actually not. We can see a lot of different designs that they've come up with. So let me show you around this place, because it's pretty cool. Located at Midtown in Roppongi, this site was created by a group of collaborators, including Issei Miyake, as a hub to promote Japanese design culture. Named 2121 with the intention that it would be a venue which offers vision beyond 2020 to see what's ahead. Wow, it's so interesting to see all these different designs and displays, all made by Japanese designers, and they have a description for all of them, so you can see how they made every single one of these pieces. And check out these little mini chairs. Traveling just south of Tokyo, we're now hitting up Kanagawa Prefecture. And first things first, we're checking out the beachside area of Enoshima, a small island on the Shonan coast about 4 kilometers in circumference, and my summer go-to spot for many years. Benzaiten Nakamise Dori. If you're coming to Enoshima, then you're definitely going to have to check out Enoshima Shrine and this shopping area right behind me. This street is filled with souvenir shops and restaurants, but like my teacher always said, you do you. Actually, she never said that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Street food. So this particular manju stop has more than 200 years of history perfecting their craft. And what better way to start our ascent than to get some traditional street food? Alright, now that I'm all carved up, time to make that climb up to the shrine. Just a small walk away from the shrine area, you can walk around the island enjoying the ocean breeze and even watch the sailboats. But if you've come this far, I definitely recommend this next Enoshima hitter, as the area is known for its shirasu delicacy, aka white-bait fish. Oh, feels good to get out of that wind. So this place is one of the best shiratsu places in all of Enoshima. Right now it's kind of under construction, so you can actually see the facade. But you guys can't miss it. It's one of the best places to come out here. Hi. So I got the shiratsu bowl with 6 different types of fish. This bowl comes with a healthy serving of cooked shiratsu, raw shiratsu, salmon roe, sakura shrimp, and my favorite, negi toro. So shiratsu is usually served cooked, but during a limited time in the winter, they serve fresh raw shiratsu. It also comes with a raw egg, but I changed it to a half-cooked egg called onsen tamago. Oh, it's dipped in there. That looks so good. That is so good. The egg make is super creamy with like the buttery negitoro on top of the nicely cooked rice. I think I even got like some pieces of salmon roe in there, some ikura. Oh, I just love how like the saltiness just pops. So this one is the boiled shiratsu. You can see that it's white because it's been boiled already right there. For being such a little fish, you can taste all of the flavor in there. When it's compared to the raw shiratsu, you can see just a little fish right there. It has a, how do you say, a more fluid taste. Cup Noodles Museum. So here in Yokohama, you're definitely going to have to check out the Cup Noodles Museum. Let's go inside. Look at all of this ramen behind me, all the way from 1958 when it was first created till now. Cup Noodles Museum is not just a museum for old ramen noodles, but a place where you can experience making your very own customized cup noodles. And today, I'm feeling carnivorous. Alright, now it's time to fill up the ramen cup. Oh, and I strongly recommend getting a ticket in advance since it often sells out, especially on weekends. Only one. So basically you can choose all the different ingredients, but this time I chose all meat, which is pretty freaking awesome. I've never had one with all meat. Alright, so I like to keep my goals ahead of me, but maybe by the time you watch this, we've already reached it. Either way, thank you again for subscribing and being a part of this channel. Alright, check it out. I got my finished cup of noodles. It's a meat lover's paradise. All meat, all ingredients, all the time. Now I got my meal. Let me take you to the next spot. Noge. We're in Yokohama's Noge Street right now, and this place is known to have a bunch of little bars that you can come to at night. And in fact, it's a great bar hopping location if you're really looking for it. So let me show you around. So yes, Yokohama is known for its glitzy new entertainment area, like Minato Mirai. But on the other side of Sakuragicho Station, there's a hidden drinking alley that many locals and salarymen alike love to frequent. Alright, so there's actually a lot of bars in this area, as you guys can see walking through. But this one is actually pretty cool because it has kind of that like old school nostalgic vibe. There's just a lot of different like little kind of antiques and just like memorabilia from Japan that you can sit and enjoy like a nice cold beer like this. Now let's head up north to Saitama. So we made it to Saitama. I wanted to show you some cool spots in this area as well. And just because I can, I'm gonna ride a bike to the next spot. Told you we were going off the tracks on this one. Wow, this is amazing. It's pretty nice that they have these bike rental places all over Saitama. It makes it super easy to just get around. Omiya Hikawa Shrine. So this is the main Hikawa Shrine out of 280 Hikawa shrines spread across the Kanto region, and it has a 2,400-year history. In fact, the shrine is so special that the surrounding area was named after it, Omiya, which means great shrine. And with a backdrop of giant 500-year-old trees, it's a perfect setting for those of you who love shrines. Kawagoe Kumano Shrine. So I wanted to quickly show you guys a Kumano Shrine. And Kumano Shrines are marked by this crow behind me. Crow is unique, as you can see that it has 3 legs, and the legs actually represent sky, earth, and the people. And the story behind the crow is that it actually approached the emperor and told the emperor to come and create this land you know as Japan. And you can find Kumano shrines all throughout Japan. Now if you're into unique shrines, then this one is worth considering. At the main entrance, it has this Ashibumi Kenko Road, which literally translates to foot pressure health road. It's a pretty rare feature for shrines. I mean, a lot of people go to shrines to pray for help, while at this one, you can get actual physical therapy right on the spot. It's located in Kawagoe, also known as Koedo, so stop by if you're around the area. Bonsai Art Museum. So this bonsai museum has 120 bonsai trees and they have 70 on display. The oldest one being 1,000 years old. It's pretty amazing. And one thing when you're coming here, you actually need to look at the bonsai, not from the front, but if you look all the way from the bottom, you can see how majestic it is because it's supposed to be designed as a miniature of the real thing. Pink only tree. Okay, confession. Before coming to Japan, everything I knew about bonsai trees I learned from Mr. Miyagi. So making my way to this bonsai museum in Omiya and getting to see and learn firsthand about bonsai was quite an enriching experience. Oh, and if you're not on bike, it's still only a 5-minute walk away from the Todo train station on the Utsunomiya line. And now, we're going up even further north to Fukushima. And our first stop is Aizu Wakamatsu. In this spot, we're gonna go Bushido style, the way of the samurai. Let's do this! Aizu Hanko Nishinkan. So this was a real deal samurai school back in the day where the students would learn how to read, write, fight, and survive. During the Edo period, Nishikan was the largest and most prestigious school out of 300 schools in Japan. And now, the school has been open to let people experience how it was to study back in the day. And they even have archery class. Alright, you can even try the bow and arrows here. Let's do this. Silence, everyone. This is where form meets function. Yatta! And for those of you who want to get your brush wet, you can create your own traditional akabeko, Fukushima's most famous craft and symbol of the Aizu region. This is so cool. I get to paint my own akabeko. Aka means red and beko means cow, and so these cows are known to be strong and healthy creatures that endure a lot of pain and hardships. And so what basically you do is you paint it and it's supposed to receive all of like the negative energy and all of the bad things in your life. Alright, I finished my akabeko. Hopefully he'll receive all of the mean comments. Oh.
Je suis en ce moment à Phuket, en Thaïlande, et j'ai une révélation pour les investisseurs. Regarde ça. Tous les commerces, là, derrière moi, tout ça, c'est fermé. Et j'étais dans plusieurs endroits de la ville. 90% des commerces sur le tourisme sont fermés. C'est une véritable catastrophe. Mais c'est une très belle opportunité pour certains. Et c'est pas une opportunité dont je parlais d'investir ici. Non, parce qu'en fait, c'est dans la tête que ça se passe et il y a quelque chose de très important. C'est ça la révélation. C'est qu'on dit toujours dans les investissements, il faut savoir être agressif quand tout le monde est défensif et être défensif quand tout le monde est agressif. C'est-à-dire que tout ce que tu as vu derrière moi, devant moi maintenant, qui est fermé, qui est à vendre, et ben il va y avoir quelqu'un pour acheter. Et c'est pour ça que dans les investissements, il y a toujours un acheteur et un vendeur. Et il vaut mieux toujours faire partie du petit groupe. C'est-à-dire que quand tout le monde se dit c'est fini, c'est plus la peine, c'était une arnaque, parce que par exemple les monnaies virtuelles, on disait ça. Les monnaies du futur, tu vois, on disait ça. On disait c'est une arnaque. Depuis, ça a bien remonté, ça continue de monter. Pourquoi? Parce que les pouvoirs centralisés, on voit très bien qu'on ne peut pas faire confiance, surtout sur les politiques monétaires, puisqu'il y a eu la crise 2008, enfin bref, on a eu je ne sais combien, et on voit que ça continue de monter derrière, parce qu'il y a un intérêt. Et peut-être que justement, tu voudrais investir dedans, mais tu ne sais pas exactement dans quoi investir, par où commencer, ou peut-être que tu as commencé et tu voudrais juste améliorer ta stratégie. Alors sache que j'ai préparé un atelier qui est totalement gratuit, où je t'explique ma méthode, comment j'investis, en 5 minutes par mois.
Ochijuku. So right now we're in Ochijuku, and if you look around, these houses have been around since the Edo period. And what sets them apart is if you look at the roofs, all of the roofs are made out of thatch. So during the Edo period, Ojijuku was a city situated on the important route connecting Aizu and Nikko. Many travelers would come through this location to rest mid-journey. Despite being in the mountains, the city flourished. These days, you can simply stroll in the area to enjoy the view or experience the traditional thatch shops for souvenirs and such. Wow, this place is amazing. You really feel like you've transported back into time. All the roofs are made out of thatch. Ochijuku. So right now we're in Ochijuku, and if you look around these houses, houses have been around since the Edo period, and what sets them apart is if you look at the roofs, all of the roofs are made out of thatch. So during the Edo period, Ojijuku was a city situated on the important route connecting Aizu and Nikko. Many travelers would come through this location to rest mid-journey. Despite being in the mountains, the city flourished through this location to rest mid-journey. Despite being the mountains, the city flourished. These days, you can simply stroll in the area to enjoy the view or experience the traditional thatch shops for souvenirs and such. Wow, this place is amazing. You really feel like you've transported back into time. But today, I've got that traveler's hunger. And fortunately for me, Ochijuku specializes in the unique negi soba where you're supposed to eat the soba with a fresh, giant, green, long onion. Yeah, boy! Yes, it's so nice. They have a kotatsu here. It's a heated table. Meaning that underneath the table it's heated and they have this little blanket that just covers your legs. Alright, the food has come. You can see that Takuto soba comes with a negi. Look at that, look how big that is. And basically you can use it to mix it all around. And then on top of it you have some daikon, oroshi, and on top of that you have some bonito flakes. And the way you're supposed to actually eat this is you're supposed to take some of the soba noodles and you're supposed to eat it with an onion. So that, dip it in. That negi adds so much flavor to the soba. The negi almost kind of has like that wasabi kick to it, like it releases all of your sinus because it's just.
Блин, жрать хочу, вообще не хватает, вот что я понял. Наверное.
It's so fresh. The soba itself is actually in a nice dashi. You can see the noodles perfectly like soaked in the soup. As you get higher and higher up the negi, you can like feel the spiciness. Alright, now we're heading east of Tokyo to Chiba, and at our first stop, I'm getting one with nature. And a bit of rain. So although it's raining right now, I definitely had to show you this spot. Right now we're at Mount Nokogiri. Let me show you around. Its sky is 320 meters high and is known for having the largest Buddha in Japan. But in fact, there's so much more to explore in this mountain. Wow, that was kind of a little bit of a climb, but the view here is just amazing. So this is Shaku Shaku Kanon, the deity of great mercy and love. Shaku is an old measurement in Japan. Hyaku means 100, and so one shaku being 30 centimeters makes the carving about 30 meters tall. So alright, so we made it to the top. If you look down, it's super scary. And I'm actually scared of heights, so I don't really want to look down. But for you guys, let's do it. Let's go. Jigoku no Zoki. Literally translated, it means peering into hell. This viewpoint is about 100 meters high and super scary. But on a cloudy day like today, you kind of feel like you're floating above the clouds. When it's sunny though, you can get a great view of Tokyo Bay, Boso Peninsula, and even Fuji Mountain. And this is the largest Buddha in Japan, Yakushi Yuruko Nyorai. It towers at 31.05 meters and it took 3 years to create. The second largest Buddha in Japan is more than 10 meters shorter at about 18 meters tall in Nara. And so here we are, our last stop of the journey, Michi no Eki, Hota Shogako. So this place is called a Michi no Eki, which is kind of like a place for cars to stop, like a rest area. And so what's interesting about this place is that it's an elementary school that's been converted into a rest stop. If you look just behind me, you can tell that it's an elementary school here in Japan. Located in Kyonan Machi, Chiba, Hota Shogako was an elementary school closed in 2014 and was renovated into a car rest stop. So I've visited a few elementary schools in my days in Japan for various events. This area right here really feels like you're in an elementary. On the important route connecting Aizu and Nikko, many travelers would come through this location to rest mid-journey. Despite being the mountains, the city flourished. These days, you can simply stroll in the area to enjoy the view or experience the traditional thatched shops for souvenirs and such. Wow, this place is amazing. You really feel like you've transported back into time. But today, I've got that traveler's hunger. And fortunately for me, Ochijuku specializes in the unique negi soba where you're supposed to eat the soba with a fresh, giant, green, long onion. Yeah, boy! Yes, it's so nice. They have a kotatsu here. It's a heated table. Meaning that underneath the table, it's heated, and they have this little blanket that just covers your legs. Alright, the food has come. You can see the takoto soba coming through the negi. Look how big that is. And basically you can use it to mix it all around. And then on top of it you have some daikon, oroshi, and on top of that you have some bonito flakes. And the way you're supposed to actually eat this is you're supposed to take some of the soba noodles and you're supposed to eat it with an onion. So like that, dip it in. That negi adds so much flavor to the soba. The negi almost kind of has like that wasabi kick to it, like it releases all of your sinus because it's just so fresh. The soba itself is actually in a nice little dashi. You can see the noodles perfectly like soaked in the soup. As you get higher and higher up the negi, you can like feel the spiciness. Alright, now we're heading east of Tokyo to Chiba, and at our first stop, I'm getting one with nature. And a bit of rain. So although it's raining right now, I definitely had to show you this spot. Right now we're at Mount Nokogiri. Let me show you around. Its sky is 320 meters high, and is known for having the largest Buddha in Japan. But in fact, there's so much more to explore in this mountain. Wow, that was kind of a little bit of a climb, but the view here is just amazing. So this is Hyaku Shaku Kanen, the deity of great mercy and love. Shaku is an old measurement in Japan. Hyaku means 100, and so one shaku being 30 centimeters makes the carving about 30 meters tall. So alright, so we made it to the top. If you look down, it's super scary. And I'm actually scared of heights, so I don't really want to look down. But for you guys, let's do it. Let's go. Jigoku no Zoki. Literally translated, it means peering into hell. This viewpoint is about 100 meters high and super scary. But on a cloudy day like today, you kind of feel like you're floating above the clouds. When it's sunny though, you can get a great view of Tokyo Bay, Boso Peninsula, and even Fuji Mountain. And this is the largest Buddha in Japan, Yatso Peninsula, and even Fuji Mountain. And this is the largest Buddha in Japan, Yakushi Yuruko Nyorai. It towers at 31.05 meters and it took 3 years to create. The second largest Buddha in Japan is more than 10 meters shorter at about 18 meters tall in Nara. And so here we are, our last stop of the journey, Michi no Eki, Hota Shogako. So this place is called a Michi no Eki, which is kind of like a place for cars to stop, like a rest area. And so what's interesting about this place is that it's an elementary school that's been converted into a rest stop. If you look just behind me, you can tell that it's an elementary school here in Japan. Located in Kyonan-machi, Chiba, Hota Shogako was an elementary school closed in 2014 and was renovated into a car rest stop. So I visited a few elementary schools in my days in Japan for various events. This area right here, it really feels like you're in an elementary school. Wow, this is exactly what an elementary school sink would look like. And what's interesting about this place is that on the second floor, you could actually sleep here. They actually have hotel rooms that look like elementary school classrooms. On the first floor, they have 5 restaurants offering different types of food. And since it's a rest stop, I definitely can't pass up on some food. I'm so hungry, time to get some pizza. But check this out, they have a real stone oven just right behind me. It's crazy to think that this used to be a classroom and now it's a pizza restaurant. Look at that, I got my pizza. I actually got the salami X, meaning that it's like supersized. Look just how delicious that looks. It has some tomatoes, some salami, some olives, that's got some basil. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't throw some chili oil on there. Oh, get it all down in there. Woo. And I've got my beer. Who would have thought I'd be at an elementary school drinking a beer and having some pizza? Oh, the mozzarella goes so well with that salami. You have the olives and you have the freshly cut tomatoes. This is the perfect meal. And in fact, like many rest stops, this place has a ton of souvenirs to bring back home. Even the gymnasium has been converted into a market where you can buy local vegetables and goods. Look, they even have rice here. Looks like the guy's mouth is open with rice. There's actually sake as well. Alright, so that concludes my tour of Tokyo and the Kanto area. If you guys like this video, help me out and hit that like button. If you want to see what I'm doing on a daily, check out my Instagram account. If you want to help support the channel, then definitely check out the Tokyo merch. And if you have any questions about Japan or your Japan travels, check out the Discord community. Links are always in the description. And finally, if you want to see more guides about Japan or Tokyo or anything like that, hit that
No,
Janvier 2021. Le Capitole, symbole de la démocratie américaine, est attaqué.
And breaking news tonight, the deadly siege on Congress as an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol. We've seen shocking images of chaos, rioters rushing past barricades and police up the Capitol steps.
Mais derrière ce chaos et cette colère, l'invasion du Capitole a-t-elle pu être planifiée? Le Monde a examiné des dizaines de vidéos de l'événement, mais aussi les réseaux sociaux fréquentée par l'extrême droite américaine. Il montre le rôle central joué par certains groupes paramilitaires dans l'irruption au sein du Capitole et trahissent l'existence d'un plan pour y parvenir. Ils exposent la proximité entre ces milices et certaines personnalités proches de l'ancien président Donald Trump. 2 mois plus tôt, le 4 novembre 2020.
This is a fraud on the American public. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Malgré sa défaite à l'élection présidentielle américaine, Donald Trump refuse de s'avouer vaincu. Partout dans le pays, ses partisans organisent des manifestations contre ce qu'ils considèrent comme de la fraude électorale. Parmi eux, des militants armés et équipés de tenues paramilitaires. Parmi eux, des militants armés considèrent comme de la fraude électorale. Parmi eux, des militants armés et équipés de tenues paramilitaires. Ils sont notamment affiliés à 2 groupes, les Proud Boys et les Housekeepers.
Because we have men already stationed outside D.C. as a nuclear option, and in case they attempt to remove the president illegally, we will step in and stop it.
19 décembre. Trump appelle à une grande manifestation à Washington le jour où les résultats de l'élection doivent être certifiés par le Sénat. Sur ce forum, les résultats de l'élection doivent être certifiés par le Sénat. Sur ce forum pro-Trump, qui compte plusieurs millions de vues par mois, les partisans du président s'organisent. Cette carte est notamment partagée à de nombreuses reprises dans des messages supprimés depuis. Les positions des tunnels d'accès souterrains du Capitole, ainsi qu'un périmètre d'encerclement du complexe, y sont notamment indiqués. Certains parlent d'entrer à l'intérieur du bâtiment.
Une manifestation ne suffira pas à faire changer le Congrès d'avis.
Pas si nous restons à l'extérieur. En revanche...
Quelques jours avant le 6 janvier, les Proud Boys et les Housekeepers annoncent qu'ils prendront part à l'événement.
Les Proud Boys seront là en nombre record le 6 janvier.
Сбивают, да.
piano is an expressive musical instrument. The keys of the piano are touch sensitive. Pressed softly, they produce a quiet sound. Pressed forcefully, they produce a loud sound. The piano action is the core working part of the piano. The action transmits the energy of the keystrokes to the hammers, which strike the strings and produce the musical sounds. In home service, 4 kinds of vertical pianos are commonly encountered: old uprights or upright grand pianos, studio vertical pianos, console pianos, and spinet pianos. These instruments all use the basic vertical piano action, modified as needed to fit the different case sizes. These are the basic moving parts of the vertical action system: the key, which is pressed by the player, the hammer, which makes the sound by striking the string, the damper, which quiets the sound by pressing on the string, the whipping, which uses the key movement to move the hammer and damper. These parts are mounted on rails, long rods or sticks which run across the piano, holding in place 88 individual sets of parts to play the 88 notes of the piano. When these parts work together properly, they use the performer's energy to move the hammer and damper. They also quickly reset the action to play the next note. The standard studio piano action provides the best model for understanding the vertical action. We'll use this model to show how the parts of the action work together. The action is at rest. The front of the key is up, ready to be pressed by the player. The hammer is resting on the hammer rest rail. The whipping rests on top of the capstan. The damper is pressing against the string. Let's look closely at these parts and show their basic functions. The key is a simple lever. The center rail or balance rail provides a fulcrum or pivot point for the key. The key is held in place by a balance pin on the balance rail and a front pin on the front rail. These key pins fit in slots or mortises in the keys. Inside the mortises are cloth bushings, which slide quietly along the key pins. The front of the key is somewhat elevated at rest from the key pins. These are cloth bushings, which slide quietly along the key pins. The front of the key is somewhat elevated at rest, leaving room to be pressed by the player. The back of the key holds an adjustable brass, wood, or plastic piece called the capstan. The capstan communicates the motion of the key to the whipping. The whipping sits on the capstan. It is hinged to the rail by a flange, which allows controlled, easy movement in alignment with other parts. The whipping heel or foot is shaped and placed to effectively transfer the key capstan movement to the whipping. A flange, which allows controlled, easy movement in alignment with other parts. The whipping heel or foot is shaped and placed to effectively transfer the key capstan movement to the whipping. Above the heel is the jack, which also pivots in a flange. The jack communicates the whipping movement to the hammer butt, the lower part of the hammer assembly. The hammer is now moving toward the string. The jack also has a toe. At the appropriate point in action movement, the toe contacts At the appropriate point in action movement, the toe contacts the let-off button, which presses on the toe and swings the tip of the jack away from the hammer butt. This allows the hammer to freely strike and rebound from the string without jamming or blocking. The whipping contains additional parts that are crucial to piano function. The jack spring compresses when the jack toe moves down, and it pushes the jack back under the hammer butt when the key is released and the parts reset. The spoon presses against the lower part of the damper lever as the whipping rises, lifting the damper head from the string. All of the dampers in the piano can be lifted simultaneously by the damper pedal. When the key is fully depressed and the hammer has rebounded, the back check on the whipping contacts the catcher on the hammer butt and holds the hammer in check, preventing it from bouncing and restriking the string. When the key is released, the whipping drops down and the back check contacts the catcher on the hammer bed and holds the hammer in on the whipping, contacts the catcher on the hammer bed. And holds the hammer in check, preventing it from bouncing and restriking the string. When the key is released, the whipping drops down and the back check releases the hammer. The hammer return spring pushes the hammer away from the string, and in fast playing, the bridle tape gives a little tug. They help the hammer return to the hammer rest rail. The action parts are now back in their original locations, ready to be played again. And in fast playing, the bridle tape gives a little tug. They help the hammer return to the hammer rest rail. The action parts are now back in their original locations, ready to be played again. With proper adjustment, all these parts work together to allow articulate, rapid, and expressive playing in the middle of the piano.
Understand and look and see what actually happens in the piano when you play a note. Okay, so we're going to start up here, and we've had a different video that shows you all the different parts and names and everything. So we're going to go into a little more detail of how things work today. Now what happens, obviously this you might recognize as the key, so you're going to press that down, and I'm going to just do it quickly so you can see that all the different parts that move in the action. And ideally what happens is the hammer strikes the string will vibrate, and that's what makes the sound of, so as that string is vibrating, that's what makes the sound that you hear when a piano key is played. So what happens is the key is pressed down, and as you can see is the front of the key, which this would be the front of the key over here, is that's pressed down, the back of the key is going up. Okay, and it balances on this part right here, what's called the balance rail. Okay, so as the front of the key goes down and the back of the key goes up, this piece right here, which is called the capstan, pushes up on this part right here, which is called the whipping. Okay, and that pushes the whipping up. Okay, and I can even push that whipping up without moving the key, and that'll still do the same thing. So this whole lever right here, which is called the key, pushes down and on the front and pushes up on the back. So that pushes the whipping, and what happens is